let's have a quick look at this guy, right? Because this guy, there are a couple of cards for him in the game, 269 to be precise. He's 21. He's playing for Dynamo Moscow. And this is a guy that's been doing okay so far at this tournament. 85 in the first game, and then 46.54 in a 2-2 draw against Belgium. It's actually a pretty good score, to be honest with you, given that they conceded 2 goals. He's been doing well. He's a good threshold player, this guy, isn't he? 12.2 in his AA, 48.6 overall, only 21. Could be a good guy to kind of add to your list, I think. He's cheap still, I think. Given the cost of under 23 defenders at the moment, he's pretty cheap at less than £10. Having a fairly okay tournament. But kind of one of the issues with this tournament, or just approaching tournaments in Sorare, is that you know, if you don't have these players, as I say, then if you look to pick up this player specifically for this midweek, and then Georgia end up going out, then you've basically picked up a player that you then can't use for the rest of the summer, right? So with these under 23 players, it's much more a case of just trying to pick up players that you are impressed with, that you think you see a lot of potential in, rather than specifically picking them up for a midweek fixture, because this is knockout football, right? If they get knocked out, you can't use them. So always keep that in mind, guys, which is why we're not going to spend too long talking about the under 21 games, to be honest with you. Because as I say, if you've already been playing under 21 or under 23 teams for this under 21 tournament, then you've already spent the time to build them up. It's now not a case of like buying them as the tournament goes through, unless, as I say, you're picking them up for the long term. Somerville, yeah, Somerville, there's been a lot of talk about Somerville, how he could do really well next season for Leeds. He's not done well at all, really, for them. He's had some flashes of brilliance. So far at this tournament, he's been a bit underwhelming, hasn't he? Look, 43, 26.9. He has had difficult opponents, but he needs to up his game a little bit. He's £16.42. So again, he's probably a classic example here, where if you think about the cost of players in Sorare right now, this player does not justify £16.42 in the current climate, in the current meta of the game right now. You are not getting good return on investment from a scoring perspective by paying £16.42 on this player. However, you are basically investing in him for the long term so that he can do that a bit more on a regular basis in the future, because you believe that he can do that more, given more starts. Because that's the thing with him. He doesn't start enough, right? So he's a very good player, but when he starts, look, when he starts, he can do amazing things. He just doesn't start enough. He doesn't have that nice run and momentum to his game. So he's not worth, in my opinion, £16.42 to help you with scoring. But if you are one of those managers that like to invest in like long-term prospects, then he's definitely a good one to look at for sure. He's really good. All right, if we can close him down now. A couple of other players like Brian. Brian's been doing quite well so far. He got a goal, didn't he, in the last one? There you go. Got a goal in the last game. Done pretty decent. Just a good player in general. So this type of player who's £44 probably offers a bit more value, because he's also playing for Ajax. He's doing really well for Ajax as well. He's got a proven track record. Why is this so slow right now? It's always like we always get this. There we go. Finally, Sorare data's caught up. So yeah, Brian is kind of probably more of one of those under 23 players that I would have less problem with spending this much money on, or spending a bit more on, right? Because you're getting an under 23 player that can actually give you short-term returns in Sorare from this level of scoring. Plus, you're also investing in a player that can even go further than this and do bigger and better things than this in the future. And he's only 21. He's got, again, a long-term contract. He's got huge amounts of utility. So when you kind of compare Somerville, who's kind of like, what, £16 or so, I would not spend £16. However, I would be prepared to spend another £30+ to then spend 44 on someone like Brian, because you get something from him now, and you're going to get something a lot better from him. We have to go and talk about Almeida as well. Yeah, because he's been having a really good tournament so far. Also, just a really good player in general. He's very cheap. Look, I think this is quite cheap for this type of guy. Around £11, something like that. This is his tournament so far. 2 scores of 60 points or more. The first game, he got 33 in his AA, so he didn't even get a decisive. And he is that type of player. Look, you can see from the way he plays, he's that type of player where he does not need a decisive to get into the 60-point scoring. So he's exactly what we love to see in this game. These types of players are so few and far between. And especially for an under-23 player, this is the type of player that's just worth their value and more. Because then you don't need to rely on them. Look, does it so much as well. Look here. Does it so much for Valencia. He can give you 60 points or more with a decisive. He can do it without. And then when he does get a decisive, because his AA is usually quite good, he can then get you into the 80 points. De Kuipia is having a brilliant tournament and just a brilliant year overall. This guy is smashing it so far. 77, 97 so far in the under-21 tournament. If Belgium get far, then he has the potential to be one of the players of the tournament, I think. Maxime de Kuipia. And he's on loan from Club Brugge. He's just fantastic. This is the type of under-23 player that you really wouldn't mind spending £40 on because, again, he gives you nice, immediate, short-term returns and very good short-term returns, as in he can actually smash the high end on a consistent basis. He gives you goals and assists for being a defender. Basically, the kid's got everything. The kid's got everything. A couple of players that caught my eye from the Spain game when I watched them against Croatia was... Where are they at? So the goalkeeper for one, Arnau Tenas, who we kind of spoke about 20 minutes ago, the really small Barcelona goalkeeper. He made some good saves. He actually looks quite confident. He looks very good with his feet, which is what you would expect, right, from a Barcelona goalkeeper, because they rely on every single player being in their team, like being super good with their ball control. And there was a couple of instances where, when I was watching him, where he actually looked like he wanted to take on some players and he had the confidence and the ability to do it. So I like this guy a lot, but he's just very small. As I say, I can't believe that he's a goalkeeper. He's so small, but he's very agile. He's like Spider-Man. A couple of others. Miranda impressed me. I quite liked how Miranda done in the game against Croatia too. Now, it's got him here, Miranda, as kind of playing centre-back, but actually I think he played more as a left-back, didn't he not? There you go. Look, he played as a left-back against Croatia. So he is a left-back. Now, funny enough, look, even though I liked the performance I saw from him, he only got a score of 42.72, which is surprising me, because I thought it was better than that. But you can see before then, he got 89 against Romania. He's also capable of giving you like that high end. He just looks so good, getting forward, doing his defensive duties, and he's really cheap too. So this is a guy I think is worth keeping an eye on, because he really impressed me against the Croatia game. A couple of other Spanish players that were kind of impressive. Gomez, of course, we know Gomez because he's a Man City player. Doesn't really get much of a looking at Man City because, you know, it's Man City. Even the best players can't really get into the Man City team, so an under-23 player, it's going to be very difficult for him. But he had, look at that, he was very impressive against Croatia, and he's had an impressive tournament so far. So, look, he's only £15.67. How does that make sense? Make it make sense for me. The Sergio Gomez is £15.67, and then somebody like Somerville is £16.41. Sergio Gomez is a way better player than Somerville. They're both really good young players, but Gomez is like ex-Barcelona academy product. Like, Guardiola made a big effort to bring him into the team, into the Man City squad. And now, yeah, he's not playing much, right? But if you were going to invest in talent for the long term, there's no way you spend £16.41 on a Somerville when you can pick up a Sergio Gomez who's playing for the English champions. So make that make sense if you can, because I can't really make sense of that. He's been doing good. Yeah, he's been doing good. I was impressed with him in the game against Croatia. Arnau Martinez, I felt didn't have an amazing game against Croatia. He didn't even play. Look, there you go. That's why I didn't see him. But I like this guy a lot. So yeah, he's actually a card that I had, his limited card, for a while last season. And again, he's a good prospect because he starts a lot. He's only 20, but he's starting a lot for Girona. Really good. The other player that impressed me, I think, was Rodri. So I quite liked what I saw from Rodri as well on the weekend in the Croatia game. He got a score of 73, and then in the game before that, he got 77.3. And what I like about him, and you guys are going to know what I'm going to say here, I like a winger or a attacking midfielder type player in Sorare that can give you that level of scoring without a decisive. Isn't that just nuts? You've got a midfielder player here, midfielder card, that can give you scores of 40 in his AA, 40, 30 in his AA quite consistently. Really good. Look here, 25.2. Here, he gets 19.9 and 2 decisives. Here, he gets 26 and a decisive, 21. This guy looked really good. I was impressed with him. Really impressed with him. Again, I don't know why he's not been added. Not had a chance to add him in. But yeah, really like this guy. So those are the players that impressed. How much is Tenors, actually? Tenors is about £40. Interesting. The thing to keep in mind with this type of player is that he's having a good tournament. Now, after the tournament finishes, he's most likely just going to be not playing, right, for Barcelona. So you won't get any scoring from him. If he has that good a tournament, then there might be some teams that would be interested in trying to pick him up. His contract, look, only runs up until, like, June. So in 4 days' time, his contract actually runs out. What's going on with him then? Because, you know, we're always looking, we're always on the eye out for under 23 goalkeepers, right? If his contract is running out, got the captain here for Barca Athletic. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Does anybody know if his contract's being renewed or not? Because he's been at Barca. He's like a youth academy product, right? So you'd almost expect him to want to stay because he's just been at the same club. Oh, you're speaking in Spanish there. Could you speak in English, guys? Because this is a mainly English stream. So nobody really understands that. So if you can write that in English, that'd be amazing. Because this guy here, I like him. I think he's good. I've been impressed with him. As I say, he's very small. He's only 1.85 meters, which is actually, to be fair, it's not really small, but he looked a lot smaller. I think it was just because in the game I watched, Croatia were just so much bigger than him. He has a second team card. Yeah, he has a second team contract. Is his contract going to be extended? Because his contract is apparently running out this summer. But he's been at Barcelona since he's a kid. So what I'm asking is, like, do you know whether his contract has already been extended? Like, have they offered him a new contract? Or is he actually going to be leaving? You'd expect that he wouldn't leave, right? Because they've invested in him since the youth academy. So that's what I'm asking, really. Just like for you guys that are, I think, speaking Spanish, right? Maybe you know a little bit about him based on any contract negotiations. He is leaving, is he? Oh, yeah, look at that. Look, 2 hours ago. He is going to leave on a free. Wow. All right. So I'm going to make a big call here then. I'm going to make a big call that this guy will be picked up by a decent club. Thank you so much for the sub. Peffy Prince, who gives us an Aguero. I think that's our first Aguero of the day. Thank you so much, Peffy Prince, for the amazing support there. 7 months sub. Wow, incredible. That is really bad Barca business, isn't it, Sorare Seeker? I think that's really bad. I'm really surprised by that because Barcelona don't tend to do that. They don't really tend to like bring in and develop their players from the youth academy, keep promoting them. Look, so from Barca youth to under 16, under 16 to under 18, under 18 to under 19, under 19 to Barca B, and now they're then now going to let this guy go on a free. And as I say, I watched him on the weekend. I haven't seen much of him, to be fair, but he looked quite impressive. And he's a 22-year-old goalkeeper. Can't believe they're letting him go on a free after all that investment for years and years and years. He might be someone that I pick up, to answer you. I'm not necessarily sure that he would become an immediate starter somewhere, but he's 22 and he's only £40. And he's having a good tournament. So if he continues to have a good tournament, there will be some clubs lining up to pick him up on the free. And we know that he is going on a free now. You can see here, look, 2 hours ago, this story's been posted. Wow. What's this here as well? This is literally just one of the stories, isn't it? Yeah, he'll leave when Barcelona contract expires. Wow. I tell you what, guys, if I had, if I had £40 available to spend, I'm not kidding. I would go and buy. Where's he at? Where's he gone now? God, I can't even find him. Got so many tabs up here. Why can't I find him? There we go. Let's bring him up again. Yeah, I think if I had £40 to spare in the game, then I would look to pick up his limited card. Because I thought he was really good against Croatia. And he's an under-23 goalkeeper that has under-23 utility for another 2 years still. And any kind of goalkeeper that comes through the Barca academy, as he's done, is usually going to be good enough, more than good enough. Well, Gattoni, I think Gattoni, yeah. Gattoni is a player that we didn't talk about yesterday, but he's the type of player that falls into that under-23s who are going to be getting cheaper because he's 24 and his utility runs out in less than a week's time. So we'll add him in to this under-23s about to get cheaper. This is a public watch list for you guys to dip into and check out some really good under-23s that are not going to be under-23s in a week, but just mean that like you're still going to get a good player, but they should technically be cheaper when they lose that under-23 utility. And he's definitely one of them. Yeah, he's look at this. He's got great levels of scoring to him. Oh my God, wow. Well, I have to say, for £5.63, that is already, I think, quite cheap. And if you could get him for even cheaper, if you could basically get him for less than £5, then that's a bargain. He's only 26 still. He's a good player when he's fit, right? That's the problem. He's a good player when he's fit. He can score you lots of goals. So if he can get back to doing that, that's going to look like a bargain. £5 or so. He just needs to stay fit. It's the only big thing with him. He needs to stay fit, and he needs to also have good players around him that can give him the goal scoring opportunities. And in the kind of the few opportunities that he had towards the back end of last season, done okay, but he was just surrounded by some mediocre players too. So they need to have a bit of a clear out at Everton this summer, and they need to strengthen because they cannot have another relegation battle Everton next season. The supporters don't want to be getting into relegation battles every single year. That's not what Everton should be about. No, I don't think it is a risk though. I mean, it's a good point from Hudson, but they don't really need to go out and buy. Like, if they do, right? So they do need to go out and buy more forwards, right? I don't necessarily think that it risks Dominic Calvert-Lewin playing because he is good enough to be starting for Everton. The problem is that he can't start enough because he's not fit enough. So that's probably one of the reasons why they're going out and buying a forward. Because if they don't have Dominic Calvert-Lewin fit and ready to play, which is what they didn't have for most of the season, look, how many games did he play last season? Right, from the last look, he played 17 games, so he basically missed half the season. That's part of the reason why they ended up in the position that they're in, because they need to have a proper centre forward that can get them goals. He is that, but he just can't stay fit at the moment. When he's fit and firing, he is amazing. So I don't think them getting a new forward necessarily like risks Dominic Calvert-Lewin, because if you think about the way that Sean Dyche plays football as well, he loves the system where you play one up front or a 4-4-2. So 4-1-4-1 or 4-4-2 he loves. So if he plays the 4-4-2 and Dominic Calvert-Lewin is fit, then you wouldn't be surprised to see Calvert-Lewin playing up front alongside whoever it is they bring in. But it is a good point. There's always a risk, right? But I wouldn't be worried about that. He's the starter for them, and he will be the starter next. Alexander Schultz is the standout player here, but he's mad expensive. He's always mad expensive for good reason. He's one of the best defenders in Asia by a country mile. His scoring there is just crazy good. You've also got this guy here, funny enough, who's been doing really well recently. It's like a new mint to his card. There's only 35 of him. So it's only the new season cards for this guy of Marius Højbjerg. There's only one rare card, but look at his scoring so far. It's a pretty good start, no? Very good start to his scoring in Sorare. His AA is averaging 30.3. 30.3. It's a huge AA. And he's had no decisives whatsoever so far. This guy will be increasing in value if he carries on like that. And a very good partnership. So this game here, guys, if you wanted to try and score well in the midweek, yeah, there are a couple of players here that really stand out. I think Bailey and Antonio are the clear standouts here. You could look at Cordova Reed if you wanted to, but I think Bailey and also Antonio are just the better, like, longer-term investments anyway. Cordova Reed is, of course, okay. He plays for Fulham, but do you really want to invest in a Fulham player? I think it's better to invest in an Aston Villa and a West Ham player, especially Antonio, because with Antonio as well, look, just go back to Antonio here. He's £6.30. So you're not only getting international utility from him now with the Gold Cup being covered, but then think about this. You also get a player that plays in the Premier League next season and then will play also in the Europa League next season. So you have a player that will give you midweek scoring too. He's only £6.30. And he's a very, very good goal scorer. Could be really good to look at for this game here and then the game after. Two really easy opponents of Trinidad and Tobago and St Kitts and Nevis at home. Both at Jamaica. That's also key. They're not even away games here. They are both at home. Really. How is Woolay doing as well? Woolay always does quite well. God, look at Woolay. Look at Woolay go. He's £40 at the moment. Wow. Excellent player, this guy. Expensive, but for a good reason, really. Oh, interestingly enough, look, this is actually quite a good game, guys, look. Because this is Beijing versus Shanghai, and they have Nagadu, and they've also got the likes of Ademi, Kang Sang-woo, who we really like here. Kang Sang-woo is brilliant. We talk about him often. Look at that, guys, look. This is a guy that I've mentioned so many times on this stream, and look at what he's doing. And this is not unusual for him to do that. He does that very often, look. He's that type of player. He's less than £10. He's got a home game against them. He's a good player. Arcus has an L15 and 51. He's actually a player that I do like. I like his high end. I like his mid-range. So, yeah, I would be very tempted to try and bring him in. It's a difficult opponent, right? It's Mexico, even though I don't really rate the Mexican team. But he does well against any opponent, whether they're hard or not. And he's just that type of defender that just does so much defensively. The only problem is it's L15's 51. And so if I took out Marlon, it's only going to give me 49. So I'd be too short. So then I would have to take out somebody like, yeah, POV. We actually have Michael Hoyos already listed on the market, by the way. We are trying to sell him. I forgot about that. Yeah, well, there's not much we can really do here. If I had some budget to play with my points, then I would probably try to bring in Arcus here. Because he's such a good player. He's only 26 still. He actually looks a lot older than 26, but he's only 26. Yeah, that's a shame for me. I think if I could throw in Arcus here, then we have a slightly better chance to get a card ward, but probably not. But one for you guys to think about for sure. Let's talk about this now, especially if you are new to Pookie or new to the channel. This is probably your last opportunity to get involved in this if you want to pick up a Pokeball. So on these streams, we cover Sorare content, which is the digital card collectible game. And then we also cover Pookie, which is a digital ball collectible game. And so you can see here, these are the Pokeballs. And Pookie is a game where you are predicting football scores from leagues all around the world. You can choose which leagues you want to participate in, which teams you want to make predictions on, and you use the Pokeball to make those predictions. And this is a Pokeball that you own, right, as an NFT, but it's an NFT that actually has utility. So it's not one of those trashy NFTs, like those arty NFTs that just offer nothing. It's like a JPEG that actually has no use whatsoever. I hate those NFTs, to be honest with you, and I've steered well clear of them in the past. I've never bought one. I have no intention to buy them, but I have bought NFTs like Sorare cards. So these are also NFTs, these Sorare cards, because they are actually have value. You can actually use them to do something with, right? Like you can in real life. So if you have an actual card, you can play with that actual card and you can set up a game. You can maybe put some money in a prize pool and then use those cards to play, right? It's exactly the same principle. In Sorare, you're using these digital cards rather than physical cards to then build lineups that hopefully are going to be successful, that are going to outscore all the other lineups, and then basically give you prizes because you came out on top. And it's the same premise here with Pookie. Instead of collecting cards, we're collecting these Pokeballs, and then we're using these Pokeballs to correctly predict scores of games around the world. And then by doing that, we can then win some prizes. So there's only 20 available right now to buy before they sell out. The rare Pokeballs have already sold out. The epics have sold out. There's one legendary Pokeball available still. And the common Pokeball, which is the entry-level Pokeball to start playing Pookie and to start earning fantastic prizes, this is available. There's only 19 left. And you can buy one today for about $23.40, which is about 35 Matic, which is the cryptocurrency coin, which is native to the Polygon blockchain. I have one rare Pokeball, and I have 3 common Pokeballs. And all of these Pokeballs are different. So there's not going to be another Pokeball in the game that looks exactly like this. Neither is there going to be a Pokeball that is exactly like this. And any of the Pokeballs that you buy yourself or that you collect, they'll be unique. No other person who plays Pookie will have exactly the same looking Pokeball that you have. Plus, it's not only how unique they are in terms of their look, they're also unique based on the attributes they have. Because every Pokeball has different attributes, which are the boosts that give you a scoring bonus based on these different outcomes. So, for example, you can see here over 2.5, which basically means that if we use this Pokeball to predict on a football game and there was 3 or more goals scored, then we would get a massive boost of 36% to the score. And I'm going to show you how the score works in a minute. We've also got a couple of other things here as well. So we have a percentage boost for this being a rare Pokeball. So the higher level Pokeballs you have, the bigger the percentage of boost you get. It's also a new season Pokeball. So Pookie itself has only really been live for the past 6 months or so. So every single Pokeball in the game is a 2023 one, which means they get a 10% bonus. And then you can have these leagues and teams which are associated to the Pokeballs too. And what that basically means is that if we ever use this Pokeball to predict in the Brazilian League, and we can use this Pokeball wherever we want, we don't have to play it in the Brazilian League, we can use it in all the leagues that are available in the game. But if we did use this to predict on a league that's in the Brazilian League, we'd get an extra 10% boost to our score. And if we used it on Paranense, which is a Brazilian team in the Brazilian League, we'd get an extra 20% as well. So there's loads of different ways that you can boost your scoring. And every time you level up your ball, you get points to spend, which you can then spend by boosting these different attributes. So, like for example, we did not have 36% as a boost on over 2.5. We had something like, I think 13% to begin with, and all the attributes are randomized based on the scarcity or the rarity. So if you have a rare ball, then you are going to get some percentages which are between, say, I don't know, X to, let's say X is like 10% up to around 16% or something, and it will be randomized. You might get one in that has a home of 10%. You might get one that has a home boost of 16%, and it's completely randomized across the attributes. However, you can then improve them, as I say, by spending the points and then leveling them up. So we've been spending a lot of our points leveling up the over 2.5. We've also been putting some points into the home and also into the exact score, because the way Pookie works is that if you can get a 100% correct prediction, then you will get a huge amount of points. And obviously, the more 100% correct score predictions you get, the higher up the leaderboard you will climb. But you do not need to get 100% score predictions in order to earn rewards and earn money on Pookie in the form of cryptocurrency. You just need to get partially correct predictions. And if you get enough partially correct predictions, then you can also earn, because you only need to finish in the top 50% of the leaderboard in order for you to start earning rewards. Let me just quickly show you. We are currently participating in the live game week, which is match day 8, which is the USA League, right? You can see it here, USA League. It's this one here. You can see on Pookie that there's a free-to-play league, and that's the only free-to-play competition in the game. So you can get started today. You do not even need to buy a Pokeball. You can start playing the free-to-play mode to test it out and see for yourself whether it's the thing for you, and if you can actually win a reward as well in there. And in Pookie, in the Basic League, there are match days like this. So you can see that you can start to predict in the Basic League. There are currently 3 match days, 39, match day 40, match day 41, and every match day in the free-to-play league gives you up to 4 games to predict in. And the reward prize pool you can see here. So this icon here, where it says 0, this is Matic, right? And Matic is the cryptocurrency that you can earn. Now, you can't earn any cryptocurrency from playing in the free-to-play Basic League. You can only earn cryptocurrency, which is the money, by playing in what's called the Pro Leagues. And the Pro Leagues are all these other leagues at the moment that are active right now during the summer that have games and matches happening. These are the Pro Leagues here, the USA, Brazilian, Argentinian, Japanese, and Euro one. So, if you play the free-to-play, you can't earn crypto, right, money. However, you can potentially win this here. So this little purple icon here is called POC, and POC is in-game currency. So if you play Sorare, it's the equivalent of Sorare coins. You can earn these POC coins, or these POC tokens, and you use this in-game currency to pay for leveling up your ball, and also when you need to refill or upgrade your pressure of your ball. We haven't talked about that yet today, pressure. We'll come back to that later on. It is important, but it's not important right now if you're brand new to Pookie. The other thing that you can win in here, there's this little black kind of like icon here. This is actually a box. You can't see it because it's quite small, but this is actually a black box, right? And this box is a common Pokeball box. And what that means is that there are a total of 5 common Pokeballs available each match day in the free-to-play league that free-to-play players can win. So you have to finish in the top 5 to win one of those. Now, a common Pokeball, we just take it over here again. 1 second. Let's take it back here. A common Pokeball, this black box here that you can see, this was the logo, this was the icon. So this is that black logo or icon you can see here. a common Pokeball is worth $23 at the moment. So you have the potential to win a ball that's worth $23. Now, what's really important about winning that ball is that that ball gives you access to the Pro Leagues. So you need to own at least one common Pokeball in order to start taking part in the Pro Leagues, right? And if you can start to play in the Pro Leagues, you can then actually start to earn cryptocurrency. So it's almost like an entry ticket. Winning this is your ticket into the Pro Leagues, basically. And once you have that ticket into the Pro Leagues, you can play in the Pro Leagues forever, for the rest of your life, basically. It's unlimited lifetime access, and you can then earn crypto on a weekly basis. We'll be back again tomorrow at 12 PM UK time. We have 2 streams planned for tomorrow, so make sure that you jump on. And as I say, we'll be started with some free Tit Scout Fun coupons as well. Thank you so much, guys. You'll catch me in Fuzio's stream anyway. Let's get this raid started so you can all jump on, right? So make sure you guys jump in. You'll earn some free Tit Scout Fun coupons, and you'll also help out another streamer. And thank you so much. God, it's been a heavy stream, isn't it? I'll catch you all tomorrow, guys. You'll catch me in the chat as well. Thank you for the incredible support, and I'll see you all then. Have a great evening, guys, as well.